Becky Warren was an award-winning SAW member a decade ago and has earned her well-reviewed career in Nashville. Her songs focus on veterans, the homeless, and her own dark periods. Her new album is prophetically titled The Sixth Season. Her sound is country, folk, and rock and roll. SAW asked Becky to play a solo concert for us from Nashville.
Hi, I'm Becky Warren in East Nashville, Tennessee. Really excited to be here to play some songs for the Songwriters Association of Washington. It's an organization that's near and dear to my heart because I moved to Nashville about 8 years ago from the DC area. And SAW was such a great resource and community for me when I was up there in DC. So I'm really thrilled to play some songs for you today. I'm going to start with the first song from my first solo album. The album was called War Surplus. It tells the story of two people who meet and fall in love, and one of them is in the army and goes to Iraq. But it begins with introducing a woman named June who doesn't think she'll ever fall in love. So this is her intro song. It's called Call Me Sometime. But I had to cut it loose. Now there's nothing in my chest but a mess of bad news. A 7-high poker hand, a pawn shop, wedding band, a coffee mug, a bottom shelf of booze. If you wanna drown your heart in gasoline, make believe. If you think a good lost cause is exactly what you need. You got a taste for poison with your wine. Well then yeah, I guess you can call me sometime. I went to preachers and healers till I wore myself down. I tried pills, I read books, but nothing ever worked. Ain't a decision, it's a terminal condition. I never feel what they write those songs about. If you wanna drown your heart in gasoline, make believe. If you think a good lost cause is exactly what you need. If you got a taste for poison with your wine, then yeah, I guess you can call me sometime. Well, you got eyes to make the devil wanna roll away the stone. But my advice is you ought to leave well enough alone. But if you wanna drown your heart in gasoline and make believe, if you think a good lost cause is exactly what you need, if you got a taste for poison with your wine, well then yeah, I guess you can call me sometime. Thought I'd do another song from that album, War Surplus, that tells the story of the veteran and his girlfriend. And I'll do one now that's actually set in Iraq. Actually, when I lived in DC, I was married to an Iraq war vet. We're no longer married, but at the time I was. And so a lot of this album was based on my own experience, but this song particularly, since I myself had never been to Iraq, was based more on things I read by Iraq war vets. In particular, this one is based largely on a book called My War, Killing Time in Iraq by a guy named Colby Bazell, who's an incredible writer in kind of the Hunter S. Thompson tradition of journalism. he started the memoir. It was really just a blog that he kept while he was over there. And then when he came home, he turned it into this amazing book. And then he also wrote the album liner notes for War Surplus, which was a huge honor. So anyway, thinking of Colby Bazell, and here goes Stay Calm, Get Low. Killing time in Iraq, where the meaning of life is to make it back. And home's whatever you lean on to get you by. Out there beyond the wire, days are just smoke and fire, and half of what they told you is a lie. Stay calm, get low, this ain't no picture show. Stay calm, get low, just tell yourself you know. We're all gonna make it, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na. There's a factory about to blast, there's an IED with your name attached, but in a month the bombs will leave you bored. Ain't no need to fight it, just take a cigarette and light it. You'll be amazed at what you learn to ignore. Stay calm, get low, this ain't no picture show. Stay calm, get low, just tell yourself you know. We're all gonna make it, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na. I ain't what I used to be. I'm just a yellow ribbon on an SUV, a shadow of death wearing DCUs. I'm an M240 machine gun, a black and white Hollywood rerun, a 10-second mention on the evening news. Stay calm, get low, this ain't no picture show. Stay calm, get low, just tell yourself you know. We're all gonna make it, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na, shana na 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 na.
We are honored and tickled pink to have Becky Warren here today. You know, we used to see her in person in the DC area, and this is a chance for us to enjoy her music again, and also to let other new listeners discover Becky, who won the Mid-Atlantic Song Contest grand prize for I Wish I Was the Girl I Was in Contest 28. And I've been thinking about Mexico in contest number 30, and also a silver award for Different, and I don't even know what other awards, but I hope you didn't think we forgot about you here in the DC area. And
Oh, that's nice of you.
We've loved watching your progress in Nashville, and this is wonderful to have you together with our Canadian friend and our Brazilian friend. So I hope you enjoy their music too. I wanted to ask you about the importance of actually moving to Nashville and how you've become ensconced in the Nashville scene, and what advice you have for fledglings who might want to up and run to Nashville.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when I decided to move here, I had been living in DC, I guess, or the DC area, at least I was on the Maryland side, for 7 years. And it was a great place to be a musician and write songs, and it was a wonderful community. And I just thought, what if I could take this songwriting community and just have more of it? And that's kind of what took me to Nashville. And I think I would say, to anyone thinking of moving to Nashville, that's kind of a good reason. Something about wanting to be around music more. I think sometimes when people move here with the idea that it's going to be a path to stardom, it often isn't. And those people, I've known some of those people, and they kind of don't usually stay around that long. But people that move here for the community and to be around other writers and to be sort of challenged in their songwriting and to become a better writer, that's where people really find it enriching experience. My writing has been improved tremendously by being here and being around so many other great writers.
That's good to hear. It sort of reminds me of the difference between treading water to stay afloat and then frantically swimming through the rapids and sinking. I see you have a dog there for therapy. Yeah. Could we meet your
This
dog?
Is Herschel.
That's good therapy.
Herschel, do you want to get in? He's a big fan of video conferencing. He's in, like, anytime I do a video, Herschel's immediately perks up and wants to be in it.
Well, I'd like to turn the questioning over to Kelly and Jay, who are big fans now, and I'm so happy.
Yes, and we're so excited to have you doing this for us, Becky.
Thanks.
I wanted to ask, can you tell us a little bit about how the pandemic has affected you one way or the other the past several months? Has it given you some more undivided time to do some writing, or has it changed your daily life in a significant way? And how has that struck you?
Yeah, it's actually, I feel very lucky because the impact on me has been fairly minor compared to most of the other songwriters and musicians I know. I went through a period of treatment-resistant depression that ended shortly before the pandemic started. So I'm feeling, like, compared to how I was feeling last year when I also wasn't leaving the house, I'm much happier now. So I feel really grateful for that every day. And then I'm also not someone who tours a lot. I mean, in Nashville, there's really a division kind of between, are you a songwriter or are you an artist? And I do both of those things, but certainly the songwriting is the part that I love, and that's the part that makes me want to keep going. And so I don't tour as much as some of the other artists I know. So I've actually, in some ways, I've benefited from the fact that there are all kinds of new ways to reach out to fans and listeners during this time. And of course, songwriting you can do no matter what. And I've been writing, at home, and I've also done some co-writes with people over Zoom or FaceTime. So, it's great.
What's been your favorite way to reach out to people during the pandemic?
I've done some live streams, which are really fun, although I don't know if you guys have this from your interviews, but I have like constant paranoia that the sound is going to be a problem. So I don't do them as much as some people, but even just, communicating with fans, people have been emailing me about my album, which just came out a few weeks ago. And, maybe in a normal album cycle, I'd be out on the road touring to support it, and I wouldn't have time to really respond individually to everyone. But it's really amazing to be able to have the time and really, respond to each person. And a lot of people are sharing their personal stories with me, and that's been so rewarding to really be able to communicate with people like that and have that kind of time.
And that sort of leads me into another question. There's almost like an increasingly personal nature to what you're exploring with your music, and I find that's really interesting, extremely brave. A lot of songwriters, and I spend a lot of time with songwriters, write in a way where they're sort of writing about something that they at least pretend is out there, and this sort of objectified other, and your stuff, whether it is all personal, it feels really personal, and I get the feeling that you're writing about things because they affect you so much that this is the way you make sense out of them.
Well, that's a really nice thing to say. Thank you. I think I do really like writing about other people, which I had mostly done until this most recent album. But certainly when I'm writing, even when I'm writing about other people, I'm, naturally, I'm most interested in the ways I'm similar to the other people because that's, what's easiest to write about and what means the most to me. So thank you for saying that.
And yeah, I haven't heard as much of I haven't the new your new recordings, but from what I've been reading about and what little I heard, this is about this little personal journey you've been on with treatment-resistant depression, and have you mentioned it earlier in the interview. Was that easy because that's what you were involved in, and so it was easier to write, or was that hard to sort of find a way to make such a public statement about something so personal?
I think writing the songs was in some ways easier because I just had to be with myself, and my other albums, because they've been about other people, they've involved a lot of like interviews or reading or whatever. These I just like sat down and wrote about how I felt, and that was easier. But putting the album out has been much harder because it really is, I hadn't talked about it publicly before, and in some ways I feel like a lot of songwriters struggle with depression, so it didn't feel like big news in some ways, but in other ways for me it was. A lot of people in my family didn't know that it was a struggle I had, and so it felt a lot scarier than other albums I've put out, for sure.
All right. Well, we're going to get back to some of your music, and thank you so much for stopping by. And we're going to. I have one more question. How can people support you? They're going to know from this show what your web address is and how to send you PayPal. But how can people support you in your music?
I think the number one thing people can do is, for artists at my kind of level, is a word of mouth thing. So if you like what you hear, tell people about my albums and suggest my music to people that because that's really, I'm not going on the Today Show or whatever. I'm definitely a word of mouth act. So anytime people tell their friends or family about me, I'm really honored, and that's great support.
All right. Well, so great to meet you, and let's get back to listening to some more of Becky.
For my last song, I'm going to do one that I don't get to play it that often because I recorded it with my band, The Great Unknowns, and I've put out a few solo albums since then, so it doesn't come up that often. But I'm going to play it now because it won the Mid-Atlantic Songwriting Contest a few years ago, and I'm really grateful to Saw for that award. So I thought I'd reteach myself how to play it and play it here. The recording of this song features some amazing guitar work by the DC area's own fantastic guitar player, Avril Smith, who was a member of that band, The Great Unknowns. And also plays guitar on my most recent album, which is called The Sixth Season and just came out in October. So anyway, I think of Avril and all you guys in DC when I play this one. It's called I Wish I Was the Girl I Was. Barroom lights shine on the snow. The girls outside in their shiniest clothes, well, they drove all night to make the show. But I haven't been since ages ago, in a bar back then on the edge of town, where the girls wore summer clothes year round. We talked until the lights came on. I told you I was good as gone, but I wish I was with you tonight. You could play me that new song you like. Take the interstate right out of town with the radio playing and the windows down. Well, I wish I was the girl I was. I wish I was the girl I was. Sometimes I still forget I'm gone. I put your favorite record on, and every song feels like a prayer. I didn't know I'd lost somewhere. The college kids down at the bar, when the lights go down and they hear the guitar, well, the world outside will drop away. Nothing left but sound and ache. And I wish I was with you tonight. You could play me that new song you out of town with the radio playing and the windows down. Well, I wish I was the girl I was. I wish I was the girl I was. And you got a lot of nerve to call me now. After all the ways I let you down, I'm tired of wanting things I can't have anymore. And I wish I was a girl who'd stick around. Well, I wish I was with you tonight. You could play me that new song you like. Take the interstate right out of town with the radio playing and the windows down. Well, I wish I was the girl I was. I wish I was the girl I was. I wish I was the girl I was. I wish I was the girl